Welcome to this webinar, Bitrix24 versus Salesforce. Salesforce is a market leader in CRM software, but is it the right solution for your business? We're going to look at the benefits Bitrix24 has over Salesforce. We'll cover the user interface and some of the additional features that Bitrix24 has in its system that you do not get with Salesforce. The ability to customize the layout and fields and modules within Bitrix24, and the costs, a bit of a comparison on the cost of licensing and the cost and time to implement your system. So who are we? I am Damien Edwards. I'm the commercial manager at Bitrix24 Partners Interface, and with me I have our sales consultant, Sam Connor.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today's webinar. If you have any questions as we go through the webinar today, please add them into the question box and we'll run through those during today's interval.
So we are Bitrix24 Gold Partners. We are located in the UK and the US, and we handle all pre-sale support. So that includes scoping out your requirements, providing you with a tailored demonstration of the system, full implementation service, including setup of the system and training of your users, and then ongoing support packages. So what is Bitrix24? It's a suite of tools for managing sales projects, HR and operations, more than 10 million accounts live on Bitrix24. It is available as a cloud and as a on-premise self-hosted solution. Pricing: there is a free edition on Bitrix. The base commercial package is $49, just $49 a month. The cloud enterprise package is just under $400 per month. And then we have on-premise editions as well, which are priced slightly differently. The editions available on Bitrix are cloud, free, basic, standard, professional, and enterprise. And then, as we said, an on-premise edition. Two solutions there, business and enterprise. So let's have a look at some of the benefits of Bitrix24 over Salesforce. And one of the really strong areas with Bitrix is the user interface. Very, very good design throughout the system. You'll find very consistent throughout the system. And very, very simple to use. Easy to customize the layout as well, so you can get the design that you want. Don't need to bring in developers or access code to do that. It's very easy to drag and drop things around to get the design you want. It's easy to create fields as well. Again, you can create all, each module comes with a set of standard fields. You can remove those and you can create your own fields very simply. And yeah, basically a very intuitive design. I'm going to pass you on to Sam, who's going to show us through some of the basic design within Bitrix24 CRM.
Great, thanks, Damien. Yes, as Damien's just mentioned there, so with the Bitrix24 system, we have a really simple UI for the actual interface. And I think one thing to point out, when you're evaluating different systems, and we have a lot of clients who evaluate Bitrix and Salesforce, a critical aspect is having a UI that is simple for your team to be able to use, because when you're onboarding those team members who are going to be using the system, it's critical that you can get buy-in from those organizations and departments who are using the system. And you get that buy-in by having a simple and intuitive system to use. So inside the Bitrix24 system here, we're inside our CRM and inside our lead database here. So here we can see all of our leads. And the actual database here, this front-end database, we can see in a list view. And we also have our Kanban view here. And we can see the UI is really simple and intuitive. We can see all of the leads in our own customized stages. So you can progress your leads through your own customized stages like so. So it's very simple to start adding additional features and stages to your lead sales process. Okay, so we can add an additional stage into our lead process very simply there, so you can customize this to your specific requirements. And if we go into one of our leads, we can then see how we can really start to customize the UI inside our lead database. So here inside a lead, we've got all of the information about our lead. So as Damien mentioned, we can create custom fields to capture specific information. And we can even customize the UI down to the actual layout of the fields inside our lead details section here. And on the right-hand side, we have integration. So within Bitrix24, we can integrate email, telephony, SMS. So on the right-hand side, we can see all of that activity log inside our lead database. And from here, we can add notes. And what we can do within here, we can tag our colleagues on those notes as well. So you have that full integration with your colleagues in the system. And through the activities sections here, we can create emails to be sent out from the system and create tasks for our team. Now, it could be within the platform you choose, you may want to add additional pieces of information inside your CRM system. So within Bitrix24, what we can do is we can add additional sections. So for example, inside our lead database, we want to add some additional qualification information. And with the Bitrix24 system, it's really simple to create that additional detail that you require. So inside here, we've created a new section. And now we're going to create some additional fields to capture the relevant information that we require. So inside the qualification area, we want to add a budget so we can understand what the budget is that we're working to for this particular lead. So we can add a monetary field with the relevant information. So you can see how simple it is within Bitrix24 to create relevant pieces of information that you need to have inside your CRM system. And the information you're capturing inside that section is then fully integratable inside your database here. So we can see that information about the budget has been brought through in the Kanban section here. And what we could then also do is if we go, I'm just going to show you this in the list view, we have a really powerful filtering system. What we could then do is we could drill down to find that information inside our system here. And then I could filter on that information to see the leads where we have a specific amount of budget inside the system. So when we're creating that customization within the Bitrix24 system, it all integrates across the platform. So you can have seamless information captured inside your database. And through the database here, we can then actually store the information inside the lead list view here. So if you wanted to actually customize what data points are actually physically displayed on the front end here, that's completely customizable. So we could customize the actual view here that our team see of the lead information. So this UI is completely customizable for how you want to work. And that's what Bitrix24 gives you. It gives you the power to completely customize this system and make the UI really as simplified as you require for your team. And as we mentioned at the start, that's then when you're going to get buy-in from your team, because it's a simple and an intuitive system to use. And that's then when you'll start to see a return on your investment from using the Bitrix24 platform.
Lovely, thank you very much. So so great. Thanks very much for showing us that. That's a big. I think one of the main, probably one of the number one areas where people that are using Salesforce come to us and say that they're not happy with it, just the way, you know, the user interface and the way that you work with the product. So I think, you know, that's a big win for Bitrix24. Let's have a look at some of the actual key features here as well. So we're going to look at 5 features which are core to Bitrix24, but are not available on Salesforce. So if you wanted to use any of these features on Salesforce, you would have to plug in an additional application that you would have to pay for. Not with Bitrix24, they're built in, and they are really core features that most businesses need. So telephony Clearly, everybody's got a telephone system, but having it built in to the CRM allows you to click from records and dial when incoming calls come in. It allows you to see who's calling and to save those conversations to the correct records. Document management, we've all got document drives available, but Bitrix has those built in. And a cool feature about that is that you can save documents to clients or to projects as well. So inside, so it's all within context. So those documents are not off in a different drive. They're either in the relevant area within your sales or project section of Bitrix. We have HR workflows for requesting leave and expenses and things like that, and all sorts of other sort of office admin and HR processes. Time management, booking time, clocking in at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, and adding time to tasks. And then we're going to look at the end at a branded portal. So fully branded up, your own branding on the login page, your own URL, an area where you can invite in your clients and suppliers and collaborate with them. These are, just to reiterate, Bitrix24 core features not available on Salesforce as standard. Pass you on to Sam, who's going to show you these.
Thanks, Damien. Yeah, so let's go back into our Bitrix24 system. So first of all, then let's take a look at the telephony module. So as Damien mentioned, this is a core module within the Bitrix24 system. And I think with telephony, it really starts to complement what we have inside the CRM system. So your CRM system is kind of critical for capturing data and information. The telephony module then talks with the CRM system to see what numbers are already stored inside your CRM system. And we can then answer calls directly inside the Bitrix24 platform. So I just want to show you, first of all, what this looks like when one of our clients who we have details stored in the CRM system, what that looks like inside Bitrix24 to answer that inbound call. So we can see the information has fed through from the CRM, and I can then view all of the details about that client and answer that call or transfer that call to the relevant member of our team. So we can answer those calls directly on our Bitrix24 system, or even have those calls forwarded to the Bitrix24 mobile app. So even if we're not at our laptop or at the office, we could answer that call directly through our mobile application. And there's lots of different ways we can integrate telephony, from renting a Bitrix number to integrating a PBX system, or Bitrix24 already has multiple integrations with many popular phone providers such as Ring Central and 3CX. So there's many different ways we can connect those providers into the system. And then we get really powerful analysis of the information inside our telephony module. So we can see the distribution of calls for inbound and outbound. So you can start to analyze the actual call statistics inside your Bitrix24 system. And if we go into some of our contacts inside our CRM system, we mentioned how we can see all of the activity. So here, if we have any calls, we can actually play those calls back directly inside the client's page in the CRM. So you have that full history inside the system. So if you're communicating with your clients, you want to be able to remember what those last conversations were. The telephony integration in Bitrix24 gives you the power to have that connection inside the system. And so what we'll do now, moving on from telephony, we'll have a look at the drive features within Bitrix24. So this has become a really powerful area of Bitrix24, with lots of people maybe working hybridly. So we need to be able to collaborate on documents and information inside our system. So within the Bitrix24 area here, we have our own personal drive space where we can store our own personal documents and folders and files. And we have the ability inside our documents here to actually set permissions. So you can control who is able to access the documents that you have inside your Bitrix24 system. So it could be, for example, I might want to share this with my HR manager or my colleague inside my department. So I can control here who has editing rights on any of the documents that I store inside my drive space. And if we go into one of my documents here, we're able to actually edit those documents directly inside the Bitrix24 system. So from here, I can go in and start to add information onto my documents. And you have live editing views here. So if other people who you've given access to are editing those documents, you have that live information saved inside the system here. And I think what's really nice within the Drive area is you have the revision history. So when any changes are made to those documents, you have that entire audit log inside the system. So that's looking at our own personal Drive area. We also have the company Drive. So inside here, we could set up the folders for all of the relevant departments inside the organization. And again, we could set those access rights to control who's able to view and add access to those different areas of your Drive. So the Drive area can become a really powerful, not just collaboration area, but editing and just giving the actual control as to what information and documents different people within your organization is able to view and access. Okay, so let's look at the Drive, and we also mentioned around the HR workflows within Bitrix24. And again, this is a really powerful area of the Bitrix24 system. It has a whole HR module. But what we want to focus on today is actually looking at how we could run our very own bespoke processes inside the Bitrix24 system. And so, for example, what we're going to show here is how we could actually manage leave approval requests directly inside the Bitrix24 system. So what we can do is we can create our own workflows using what we call a business process designer tool, which essentially allows us to create our very own workflows, which can then be passed to the correct person at the correct time for layers of approval. So within here, for example, we have a request leave form. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill in a new request inside the system. And the form that you're seeing here, this is completely customizable. So as we mentioned earlier on inside the CRM system, how we could control the customization in the UI. Again, within the HR workflow sections here, you can control and decide what pieces of information need to be entered into the form here before the workflow can be actioned. So you start to see how really all elements of this Bitrix24 platform can be customized to your specific requirements. So I'm going to submit that leave now into the platform, and you can see that request has now been sent through to my manager. So if we just come into the Bitrix24 system as the manager, we can see the new request has been passed through to the manager. So with the processes that we can set up in Bitrix, you can ensure people only receive the request at the time that is relevant for that particular person. So you can focus your time correctly inside the Bitrix system. So that request has come through, so I can see all of the relevant information. So I can approve or reject that new request. So let's approve that inside the system here. And then once we come back into our system here, that request will automatically be updated. And if we go into our time and reporting section here, we then have an absence chart within our Bitrix24 system. So you can see all of those requests inside the system. So for your HR team, this could be a really powerful area to use to manage all of those requests inside the system. And then we can also adapt this and make this even more advanced by having entitlements. So for each user, you could set relevant annual holiday entitlements that each user could have inside the system. And if it's just okay, I just want to show, as we're going through the system here, actually just how customizable those workflows are. So you could really set up any type of workflow inside the system here. So if we just go back into here, if we just have a look at the actual business process designer tool, just because it is incredibly powerful for actually what you may want to achieve inside the system. So if we just go into our workflows section, and we get a lot of clients who like to build their own workflows inside the system here. So you can run different types of workflows, such as state-driven processes here, or we could run sequential business processes that have a start point and an endpoint. So there's different types of processes that we can run. Okay, so moving on now to look at time management. So within the Bitrix24 system, we have the ability to clock in and clock out, so we can record the amount of time that we're working for any given day. So again, another really powerful HR feature. So inside our dashboard here, we can see the amount of time that we have currently been logged in for. And within here, we can then take our break period. And within here, what we could do is then we could set time parameters for how long actually each day your staff can actually take their breaks for. So it could be for half an hour or an hour. You could control actually how much time a user is able to have logged as their break inside the system. So we can add all of the time we're working inside our Bitrix24 system. And if we go into our work time area, we can see that time is now logged inside the platform. So we can see when the user's clocked in, how many hours they worked, and when they clock out, the clock out would show there as well. So for your HR teams, this can be really valuable information to make sure your staff are working to the agreed amount of time inside your organization. And if we go into actually look at this in slightly more detail, what we could also do is we could set up schedules. So inside here, we may have for your particular organization specific times that your staff need to be working. So inside here, we could set up a schedule. So your staff have to have clocked in by specific time. And then we could also set the clock out time as well inside the system. And you can then be notified if one of your staff has not clocked in by that specific time period. So you can start to make sure you're working to ensure all of your staff are working at their correct contracted time using the time management tools here. And the other layer of time management within the system is within our tasks and projects. So inside the Bitrix24 system, we can manage all of the tasks that we're working on inside the system here. And we have the ability in every single task, we have our time tracking tool. So we have the ability here to record the amount of time we're spending on the tasks that we're working on. And this could be critical if you have tasks that you're working on, maybe for actually invoicing to your clients. So you need to record the amounts of time that you're spending on those tasks. We have the capability inside here to record that time, and then we can report on that inside our task system here using the reporting tools. Okay, and the last really unique feature we want to cover today within the Bitrix24 system is the ability to create a partner portal. So within the Bitrix24 system, what we can do is we can create an extranet site, which is an area where you could invite your clients or third parties. And with the Bitrix24 system, we can actually rebrand the platform. So you could add your own corporate branding to the system. As we can see here on this login page for this creative agency, we have our own corporate identity to the portal. And then when we log into the system here, what we can then do is we can capture really any relevant information inside the system here. So it's important to point out they wouldn't have access to the CRM system or any of your critical internal information. They would just see the relevant tasks or projects that you are associating them to. So we can see here it's fully rebranded up here. So you can have your own portal area where you invite your clients in and share and collaborate inside the system. And this is a really popular feature that a lot of our clients use to invite their clients into their own essentially corporate branded portal. Okay, so that's a look there at some of the really unique features that Bitrix24 has compared to the Salesforce application.
Okay, thank you very much. Really good stuff, thank you. So let's have a look at some of the features available on the on-premise edition of Bitrix24. So Bitrix is available as a cloud, and you're able to host your own instance of Bitrix either on a server in your own data center, in your own office, or as a partner, we'll host that for you on our own environment. We use an environment on Google's cloud. Other businesses use Amazon's AWS environment. But essentially, an on-premise edition that you can host on a web server that allows you to access the solution in the same way as you would a normal cloud application. But you get some advantages of going with the on-premise solution. And to be clear, Salesforce does not offer this as a solution. So this is a clear advantage to Bitrix24. And the reason why you might want to choose this on-premise solution of any really data and hosting, firstly, so you can choose the location where your data is, and that's very important for some industries for compliance reasons. So we work with banks, with government organizations, and they need to know that their data is held within a certain jurisdiction. You can only do that, you can only be confident of that if you've got an on-premise edition in many cases. The on-premise edition includes a feature called Web Cluster. So if you're operating in multiple countries, especially if those countries are quite spread out around the globe, then you might want to consider hosting that data in multiple locations around the globe in order to allow your users to access the most local version of your data. That speeds up the system for you, and that's a key feature again of on-premise. Load balancing is the same kind of feature that we can customize, or we can configure the server environment so that you optimize the speed that the system will work at. So there's quite a lot you can do on that sort of data and hosting side. As we've looked at there, Sam showed us there, you can add your own branding. So that's really good if you want to invite in clients and suppliers, but it's also good if you want your own branding for your own internal users to access. So you could host it on your own domain. You might want to host it on something like portal.yourdomain.com, something like that, a subdomain of your web address. You have your own domain, you have your own login page, and then within the site you can customize the branding within the site, have a logo on the top left-hand corner, and there's no other Bitrix branding then within the site. It's essentially your own branded system. And then thirdly, really the reasons why on-premise is a good choice for many businesses: security and compliance. There's additional security features available, things like single sign-on. You can restrict access to the system by IP address or range of IP addresses. So that is, you can restrict to people's individual homes, locations, or to a whole country or part of country using a IP range. That's a really good security feature, essentially to exclude some regions that you don't want to potentially have access to the login page of your system. Obviously, to get into the system, they're going to need to know passwords, but an additional feature would be to lock down those people are trying to access from certain IP ranges. And then finally, you can configure your own backup regime, essentially. So you can have lifetime backups, or you can keep backups for a much longer period of time. I think on the cloud they're kept for 30 days. It's pretty good. But if you want to roll back all of the system or just part of the system, and that's what you can do with the on-premise. If you want to recover part of the system, let's say you want to recover something to do with the company structure, or something to do with, you want to recover something on a work group, individual work group, and you can recover those pieces of data and restore those, and you can go back, as I say, as far as you want to keep backups of the system. So that can be, really critical, I think, for businesses.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of other features that we've not included on there. Things like activity log. So with the on-premise edition, you get a full log of every single activity that happens within the system inside quite a comprehensive control panel area. So you've got that assurance that you can track, your users' activity for any compliance reasons that you'll need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we look at implementation. Finally, really, this is one of the big reasons. Again, another big reason why you want to consider Bitrix24. If you're considering Salesforce at the moment, why you want to also take a look at Bitrix24, the implementation cost and time to go live. So cost of a license, there's a big difference straight away. We look at a 50 user license. Salesforce's preferred edition is $150 per user per month. 50 users will cost you $90,000 per annum. On Bitrix, if you go with the on-premise edition with hosting, with our partner support, it's not going to cost you more than $15 per user per month. That's top end cost of Bitrix. So we're looking at a total there of 9,000. Actually, with Bitrix, it comes down in the second year as well. But if we just look at the first year costs, then considerably, significantly lower in cost. And as we've said, as we've looked at, you don't lose any functionality. Indeed, you get some additional functionality. Yeah. The second area to look at is time to go live, time to implement your system. We're not going to give any quotes on here on how long it actually takes to implement Salesforce, but what we can say is that because Bitrix is very configurable and customizable, simple to do those customizations, then we can go live in a very short period of time. We normally quote businesses 4 to 6 weeks. We can do it depending on obviously it depends on your requirements. We can do that quicker. It can take longer if you've got a lot of requirements, but I think what we can say with a great deal of confidence is that we can go live quicker on Bitrix24 than you can with a Salesforce product. If you go live quicker, of course, you get a return on your investment quicker because your users are in the system and taking an advantage of that investment you've made in the license and cost to set up. And of course, if it takes you less time to go live, any costs associated with employing a partner to help you with that, they're going to be lower because there's less time there. So some really, I think, really compelling reasons why Bitrix24 is a very strong competitor to Salesforce. If you want to see a full demonstration of Bitrix, then obviously get in touch with us on one of those contact numbers there, and we can arrange that. What we do is we ask questions about what it is if you're using Salesforce at the moment, what it is you're doing in Salesforce. We'll show you how that would work in Bitrix. Talk to you about how we can migrate your data over and everything, and manage the whole process of transitioning your users over from Bitrix from Salesforce to Bitrix24.
Yeah, I think just as you mentioned there, Damien, I think that is one of the critical points. It is that return on investment through the shorter implementation time and also the cost. You're going to get a return on investment a lot quicker, I'd expect, with the Bitrix24 system. And we do have a lot of customers who move from Salesforce to Bitrix. We've done it many times, so we can definitely assist with that kind of implementation there.
Yeah, that's right. We've done it a lot of times, haven't we?
Yeah.
A lot of times. So we know what we're doing with these systems. So let's have a look if you've got any questions. We have got a couple in already, but if you want to post any questions, then please do so. We can answer those. You've got our contact details on there. If you want to send them through, we'll answer them afterwards. First question we've got is, does Bitrix have lead scoring? So you can do lead scoring in Bitrix, can't you? It's not a standard feature, but what we do is you can create any type of business process. So what we do is we create a business process. It checks the fields that you want to check. It pulls the data in that you're looking to check in order to build up a picture of how you want to qualify that lead. And then part of the process is just adding a value to each of those different elements that so basically you can create a business process that will calculate a score essentially out of 100, out of 10, however you want to do it. So it's not a native feature, but it's something we implement for business in a custom manner. It's very straightforward to do. We ask you some questions about what's important in terms of how you want to score a lead. what do you see as a high value lead, and then we use that to create a process in order to generate a score from that.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that just goes to show how customizable the system is. You could really do anything within the Bitrix CRM system, from lead scoring to another question that's coming is around automations, so sales automations. Again, I mean, I will just share my screen briefly here just to show in the CRM system, it has an incredibly powerful automation engine inside here to actually streamline your sales process, essentially. So inside here, based on the stages that we set up inside the lead database inside here, we can set up automations to include or automating communications to your clients, for example. So here is a templated email which could be dynamically populated with information from the CRM system. And also creating tasks, for example, for the responsible salesperson inside your organization. And we can set deadlines to ensure your sales team are making sure those tasks are completed by specific time periods. So we have incredibly powerful automations here that ensure your sales staff are doing the work that's required, but also using the Bitrix CRM system to automate as much as possible, so you can focus on gaining more sales within your sales team. Yeah.
Next question: can you migrate data from Salesforce? So we can do that. I think we mentioned we've migrated lots of systems from Salesforce, so you can export your data, CRM data, from Salesforce, and it's a fairly straightforward process to import that in. We don't generally bring across all the sort of activities, all the sort of thumbs up and comments and activities that appear in the different areas of your Salesforce system, but we'll bring across all the core data. So all the data on the contacts, the name and all the fields associated with the contact, the companies, the deals, the quotes, the invoices, all that data comes across into Bitrix. And it's not a complex system, it's not a complex process to do that. So we'll handle it all for you so that you're not missing any data. And also we'll import the data and you'll test it, and then ahead of doing the sort of live import and then going, having a point in time when you transition your users over from Salesforce to Bitrix. So we have a process, a well-oiled process that we use for migrating from Salesforce to Bitrix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can Bitrix connect with our website? I think that depends on how you want to connect with the website. We do forms and widgets, don't we? And you can build forms in Bitrix that you can deploy onto your website. Bitrix has a widget builder, a chat tool which you can deploy to your website. So I think in that respect, connects to your website.
Or I guess the alternative is actually, and we've not really talked about it in today's webinar, but is using the API. So we could actually integrate. So if you've got for example, we quite a few times is where you may get orders come through on your website, for example. We could actually use an API to feed that data into your Bitrix24 system and create a new record in the CRM. So there's also the ability to automate data from a website into the Bitrix system as well. So it all would depend on exactly how you want that connection to work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's all the questions we've got. So thank you very much for joining us today. Our contact details are on the screen there, email and phone number. So please get in touch with us if you would like a full demonstration of Bitrix24. So if you're currently a Salesforce user and looking at moving away for one of the reasons that we've discussed today, or if you're evaluating various systems, including Salesforce, then get in touch and we'll show you, no obligation, we'll show exactly how your requirements will work inside Bitrix. So thank you for your time, and bye for now.
Thank you. Bye now.